What's up, y'all? V-Slingo here for another video, and today we're going to be switching the primes of Magic Johnson and Steph Curry to determine who really is the greatest point guard of all time. This conversation every year kind of become, closer and closer really talking, especially after the Warriors won the finals last year. And even though the Warriors lost in the second round this year, I feel like the conversation is still creeping up, and there was conversation of if the Warriors would have messed around and won, is Steph even greater than LeBron? They didn't win. We ain't got to worry about that, but since these conversations are becoming so huge now, might as well do a video. So firstly, we're going to be taking Magic Johnson and we're going to put him from 2015 to the current day, seeing how he would do replacing Steph. And then after that, we're going to do Steph, putting him in 1983, and then play him through the rest of Magic's career until 91. And then we're going to compare both careers and see who really, at least based on 2K's perspective, is the greatest point guard of all time, who had the biggest impact on their era and on their team. Starting with Magic, of course, we're going to be in the 2014-2015 season, the year the Warriors won their first ring. You got Magic at 97, Andre Iguodala at 83, David Lee 81, Clay 81, Andrew Bogut 81. You see the rest of the ratings. Now, you might think these are kind of low, and they might be, but this roster I downloaded, even though it is the 14-15 season, seems like it's kind of based on the end of 13-14 season. But I made sure to make sure Clay and Draymond and everybody important, their potential, and they'll regress and progress as they should throughout the video. So everything should be fine, even going into it. Just like Steph, Magic gets their first MVP in 2015, averaging 25, 9, and 12, shooting pretty good. Also at about 40% from three, which isn't really Magic, but 2K be meat riding a little bit as usual. This Warriors team ends up as a 1 seed in the West with 64 wins, but the Cavs out East end up winning 72, giving them the number 1 seed overall in the league. And Kevin Love, Kyrie, and LeBron all kind of playing incredible. In the first round, they get a Lakers team with an older Kobe and Jeremy Lin, who they promptly take out in 5. Second round, they get Russ, KD, and the Thunder, who they took out in 6. And in the conference finals, they get LaMarcus Aldridge and Dame Trailblazers team, who they also beat in 6, with Magic averaging 30, 15, and 15 that year's. Fucking disgusting. And lastly, just like real life, they get the Cavs in the finals, who shit on them. But it's going to be all right. They still got a lot of years left. Magic got time to make up for it. Clay and Draymond still got to develop, so he can get it together. For season 2 in 2016, you see Clay's up to an 85, Draymond's up to an 80, but this Warriors team ends up losing Iguodala, David Lee, and Harrison Barnes all in free agency. Now, the rosters that I'd used for this, the contracts weren't all right, and I probably should have opted to bring at least one of them back, but it is what it is. Still on a similar path to Steph, Magic wins his second MVP in a row, but unlike the real-life Warriors who won, 73 games this season, this Warriors team only gets 53 wins. In the first round of the 2016 playoffs, they get a Spurs team featuring their normal core with J.J. Redick at the 2 instead of what Danny Green would have been there around then. This series goes all the way to 7, with the Warriors barely taking it in a close one. In the second round, they get OKC again, but this time OKC just kills them. And with that being said, and the OKC not choking the 3-1 and ultimately beating the Warriors, I'm not going to give the Warriors KD in this situation. It just doesn't make sense for KD to go there. But I'm still going to line up for them to get a star small forward for next season. In 2017, I opted to give him Melo. In this roster, Melo signed to the Utah Jazz last offseason, who ended up terrible when they're finna rebuild anyways. So I just traded for him, and it makes sense. I mean, Warriors had a couple pieces that probably could intrigue the Jazz that were rebuilding. See, Clay's up to an 86 and Draymond's 81. And even though overall they're probably a little low, I mean, Clay averaged 26 last year, so I feel like he's still on a general good pace. And Draymond hasn't quite got the playmaking that he would have got at this point, but I assume he'll still grow into it. Magic goes in 3-peats for the MVP, this time averaging a triple-double, which I guess lines up with what Russ did in real life, so that's pretty cool, I guess. This Warriors team ends up as the 2 seed with 57 wins, and this time they're playing OKC once again in the first round. And here are the stats that everybody put up this year. The Warriors able to turn around this year and once again beat OKC, this time in 5. They beat a grit and grind Grizzlies team in the second round in 7, needing a historic game for Magic to finish out the series. But they fall in the conference finals to a Lob City Clippers team that also has Goran Dragic, who was just on All-NBA third team, I believe, last season in this. And the Cavs get another one, making that a three-peat and giving LeBron his 5th championship in this universe. In 2018, this Warriors team continues to disappoint as not only Magic doesn't get his MVP and Russ gets his a year late, this team didn't even make the playoffs. Now, at least this season, Klay and Draymond finished the season hurt, but they played most of it. And I know they don't have KD, but Melo should be enough, and it's ridiculous that this team is even not in title contention for any season. In 2019, Warriors showed a little bit more self-respect, making it back to the playoffs at the 6th seed, facing the Portland Trail Blazers in the first round, who are actually the defending champions in this world. Dame got his ring. But ring or no ring, Warriors still handle the Trailblazers pretty lightly in 6, going on to face the Clippers in the second round. But sadly, this Warriors team once again disappoints, losing in 7 to the Clippers in a pretty close series overall. 2020 and 2021 were just more disappointments and first round exits, so I'm just going to skip over that completely. But in 2022, the Warriors actually found their way into the finals, facing a Joel Embiid, Sabonis, Chris Middleton, Zach LaVine, and Drew Holiday 76ers team. Unfortunately, though, Draymond was out for the series, and the Warriors end up falling in 6 after a whole battle, end up going to the finals with 8 seed, but once again, coming up short. Now, it's been 8 seasons, so this is the end of Magic section. Now we go to Steph and drop him in 1983 and see what he can do with the Lakers and Kareem. Now in 1983, with Steph on the Lakers with Kareem, Jamal Wilkes, James Worthy, Michael Cooper, Bob McAdoo, Byron Scott, their whole core. Now you will see Steph is only at 88, but I kind of wanted to put it on even terms. So this is actually the Steph from the roster I downloaded for the 2015 roster for the Magic part of it. He still does have like his high potential and everything, so he's still gonna get up to his overall. Unfortunately though, I did want to start this like when Magic won his first one in 1980, like his rookie year. But there was no good 1980s roster, so we just gonna have to start off in 83 since 2K already got that supply. Now this Lakers team is already starting off hot, getting 70 wins in their first season with Steph, and they'll be facing a Kiki Vanderway and Alex English Nuggets team in the first round, who they sweep in 3. In the second round, they get a Walter Davis and Larry Nance Suns team, who they beat in 5, followed by in the conference finals, a Clyde Drexler and Calvin Nat Trailblazer team, but who's that on the left? Jerry Sloan? Is Jerry Sloan their best player? Is he just hurt? I'm gonna check that out. And that's Jim Paxton. Oh, my fault. And Jim Paxton, who is healthy but is coming off the bench for some reason. I guess 2K. He's had a pretty good season though. I don't know what that's about. Either way, the Lakers finished them in 5. And facing the 76ers team in the finals with Dr. J, Moses Malone, and Mo Cheeks, the Lakers end up sweeping them, and Steph gets Finals MVP. So already in 1 year, Steph has won more championships than Magic. All he can do is run it up. In 1985, Steph sees his stats drop a little bit, but the Lakers still kept the same formula, same core, and got 72 wins this season and are still the 1 seed. And they're going against Phoenix once again in the playoffs, who they're sweeping in the first round. In the second round, they get the Trailblazers once again, who they handle in 6 before getting Mark Aguirre and Rolando Blackman led Mavs team in the conference finals, who they're able to sweep before getting the bad boy Pistons in the finals. This Pistons team led by Zeke and Bill Laimbeer, another team that's just no match for this Lakers team as they repeat and Steph gets another Finals MVP. Already 2 rings in 2 seasons. Looking like he's going to run away with this and Magic's not even going to have an opportunity to say anything about it. In 1986, Steph gets his first MVP of the video, averaging 36.5 and 9, shooting 60, 40, 90. not even 50-40-90, a ridiculous season on his part. And this Lakers team once again wins 70 games, wins repeat, win 70 games, handle the playoffs. This year they actually sweep the playoffs. And honestly, I could just end the video at this point, but I'm gonna let Steph get his whole run. I want him to see really how far he takes this. In 1987, Steph gets his second MVP. His points did drop a good amount, but I guess this team's still just good enough to handle it. But even with how good they were, they only win 62 games this season, which is a pretty big disappointment considering what they've done so far. But hey, they're still the 1 seed, so they're still handling business. They get a Jack Sigma-led Sonics team in the first round, who they are able to handle before getting the Trailblazers once again. I feel like they play them every year. Clyde has kind of progressed now. He's up to a 91, but they still get handled. And then they get the Mavs again in the conference finals, who they handle in 7. Actually, a pretty close game. Goes into overtime, but Lakers kill overtime. Steph had a great game, as well as James Worthy and Jamal Wilkes. They get the Celtics again in the finals. This time they make it a little bit more competitive, but Lakers still handle it in 6. Now 4 repeating. And Steph, in his first 4 years in the 80s, already matching his total amount of rings he has in real life. And it's not even like in 2K, it's called what? The Magic versus Bird era. There is no Bird here. If Steph replaces Magic, it's just all Lakers. 1988 looks like the Lakers will finally face a little bit of adversity with Kareem, who's been silently regressing, falling down to an 80 now, and them losing James Worthy and bringing in Orlando Blackman, which isn't a bad pickup, but only 83 overall is your second best player. Now it's time to see if Steph can really kind of carry them, or if, his depth has been really important to his success. Depleted core and everything, the Lakers are still able to sneak their way into the finals with Steph. Now, he is actually hurt right now, which might hurt their chances, but he's been playing elite in the playoffs, and they're facing a Bullet team led by Karl Malone and John Stockton out west. And Jeff Malone. Wasn't he also on the Jazz? Maybe I'm tweaking. But this Bullets team, I don't know if it's because Steph is hurt or what, sweep the Lakers, no competition, and it looks like it might be the end of an era. Now we're skipping to the 1990 playoffs. Now, I don't know exactly what happened in 1989. I'm recording this audio after editing, after it's been recorded a couple days. I think they lost in the first round, but I'm not too sure. But they did pick up Ralph Sampson last season instead of a little bit more help. Winston Garland's having a pretty solid season. I don't know what that's about. I don't feel like I'm pretty sure it's Darius Garland's dad. I don't feel like he was ever like that for real. They get a Warriors team in the second round led by Xavier McDaniels, though. And they won 68 games this season, so they're back to really being on top. They handle that in 6. Then they get a Hornets team led by Reggie Lewis, I think that was. It doesn't look like he's playing. Looks like Reggie Lewis is out, which would explain this team did not look that good either way. But Lakers look like they're going to sweep them. Yep, and then they get the Bullets again. They get their rematch. This team have Terry Cummings the first time. I don't know if he was there. If he was, that would make sense why they handled it. But that's an elite ass big 3 they got. The 3-1 Lakers up, and they're able to handle this time. Ralph Sampson gets their finals MVP, which this is ring number 5 for Steph. I mean, Magic got I think 5 in his whole career. Steph got 5 in a 7-year span. Now, Steph has 1 season left before, Magic would have been having too much fun in the summer, and that's when we're going to cut this off in his last season. Let's see how Steph finishes off. All right, and in Steph's last season, 1991, the Lakers are a 5 seed with 49 wins. Big drop off from last season, but they're still a playoff team, 5 seed. It's not too bad. They still can win it. And they're facing a Rockets team led by James Worthy and Michael Jordan. I haven't seen Michael Jordan all video. I was kind of wondering where he was at. But it looks like it doesn't matter because the Lakers are up 3-0. In the second round, they get another Nuggets matchup, who they end up taking care of in 5. Before going on to face the Suns in the conference finals, who go up 3-0, the Lakers are able to come back, pushing it to Game 7 before falling in kind of a blowout in Game 7. When it comes to comparing their IRL career stats, I feel like they match up pretty well, but Magic is still kind of up in a good amount of stuff for real. But Steph still got some time left, and then there's also argument to impact everything. I mean, Magic helped keep the league alive probably in his time, but like Steph is like revolutionized the modern game type shit, you know. But when it came to sim, it's not really a question at all. Steph went and still had, in an 8-year span, was incredible and probably would make a go case, while Magic is just a nigga with some MVPs. So if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that stuff. And the next video is probably going to be tied with the super team the Whites trying to build in Taiwan, or it's going to be some park stuff. That's what I got lined up for the next, couple weeks. So stay tuned, and I'll see y'all next time.